Welcome back, folks. Hope you're having a great week. This week's video is the result of a little bit of harassment. All right, let's not get dramatic, but there were quite a few comments, and I always appreciate all the comments, asking me to run the Veranda Turbine, the Veranda Turbine, the Veranda Turbine. RBP, you're going to get the Veranda Turbine? Well, luckily, the Veranda Turbine is an engine that I was considering getting. I was really on the fence, but your encouragement pushed me over the edge. And now we have this mammoth machine sitting next to me on the track, grinning from ear to ear. It's mean, it's huge, it weighs a ton, and it's one of the biggest non-steam engines that we've run on the channel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Lionel cataloged this monster machine in the 2021 Volume 1 catalog. The one I'm running tonight was actually never a real paint scheme. I always enjoy these what-if paint schemes. And with this one, they put in a couple of additional electronic features, such as the air horn.
Awesome.
My favorite feature is the air horn. These Veranda turbines have been selling out super fast, but there's still plenty of them out there, and I got mine from trainworld.com, so check them out. They have plenty of inventory left if you're looking for this one or several of the other variations that Lionel made. I won't lie, I'm way late reviewing this engine. I mean, at this point, the Veranda has been on YouTube for several weeks now, so you've probably seen some great reviews on this engine. So we're not going to go into all of the details and all the little things about this engine. There's a lot of great reviews out there about it. This turbine is by far the largest engine in my collection that's not a steam locomotive. We've looked at a lot of the big articulated steam locomotives, and we're going to look at more of those. But outside of the steam engines that I have, no engine matches the size, the weight, and the strength of this turbine. But this thing weighs a ton. This entire shell is die cast. So when I say this thing has some serious tractive effort, it can pull anything you want to put behind it. We're not going to do that this week. We're not going to test how many cars can the turbine pull, because we're going to do that next week with two of my new EM1s that I'm really excited to show you. But this week is all about our toothy turbine. Look at that thing. You know, I've always been a sucker for toothy toys. You know, in the 80s you had Masters of the Universe, Land Shark. In the 90s you had your Jurassic Park, T-Rex. And now, as a 36, almost 37-year-old kid, I guess I am, toothy trains. Two of them. Lionel, keep making these, because I'm just going to keep getting these, because it adds to my collection of toothy toys. I've always found the turbine fascinating, because in real life, the engine was powerful, and it was really loud. The real engine's made up of two parts. You have a diesel engine that kind of gets it moving, it's used for lighter service, and then the gas turbine, which, on this model, really brings the model to life in a way that makes it stand out from so many of the other trains in my collection. Just look at the smoke feature when the turbine kicks in. So much smoke on this thing. You have the smoke unit that's constantly on, and the smoke unit that kicks in when the turbine sound kicks in. And that effect turns on at speed step 15. So if you're using your Lionel Legacy remote and you're watching your speed graph, number 15 is where the magic happens, folks. That's where the awesomeness kicks in. That smoke feature is my favorite feature on the engine, next to the air horn. The turbines were retired in 1964, so they only enjoyed a short time on the road. The sound set on this engine is further amplified by a super bass unit. I'm talking large speaker system in the tender itself. We've seen the super bass system at work on my Legacy Sharks, which of course we're going to run tonight, because this is all about trains with teeth. But on this Veranda, it makes this engine thunder. I only wish that my audio system could do it justice, with just how much sound these super bass units put out. If you have not invested in a Lionel super bass unit in your collection, make this the year that you get one, because it revolutionizes the way the engine sounds. And I will tell you, it's totally worth it. This massive engine is 30 inches long, which make it rival several of my articulated locomotives. One of the things I was mentioning about the size of this turbine is if we look at it in the yard, it's parked next to this Lionel Legacy EM1, which is a massive steam engine. You can notice the nose of the locomotive is at the back of the tender of this Western Maryland, another what-if fantasy scheme locomotive. And if we go all the way to the back, where our tender is, we are at the front of the EM1. So we are as long as a giant articulated steam engine, which is just super cool. And yes, I had to turn the sound down because this engine is massively loud. Listen to this. So loud. Air horn. Now let's walk through some of the features and sounds of this locomotive. But first we got to put a little smoke fluid in it because this engine consumes an incredible amount of smoke in a very short amount of time. So if you're going to get one of these, you have to keep the smoke fluid going in it because it's going to throw some serious smoke, just like this. Again, my second favorite feature next to the air horn. Whenever you're running a new train for the first time, or if you're pulling an engine off the shelf that's been sitting for a while, don't forget to prime your smoke units. So with this one, we have 2 smokestacks that we need to fill. First one is the diesel smoke, which goes in the back. We're going to do that right here. And then we also have our turbine smokestack, which is up in the front of the engine. You're just going to put the fluid straight into the grate up here. Goes right in. That way, we get plenty of smoke while we're running around the layout in just a few moments. The time has come to go through the features of this amazing Lionel Legacy Veranda Turbine. Of course, let's start it up. Here's that diesel engine sound that I mentioned. Let's get our smoke going here. Now for the sounds of the engine. Let's listen to the horn. What train has an air horn on it? It's the best part of the whole engine. All right, I could do that all night. As with all of the new Legacy engines, it has several horns. Here's the others. So, a couple of variations with different pitches, but then back to... We better get out of the room. Of course, we have our crew talk, the classic crew talk with Mr. Lionel. Not super exciting, but here it is.
Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over. Hold for track orders. Dispatcher out.
Something, something. We're going to move anyway, like we always do, because we ignore whatever they say. My favorite is the tower comm because there's just more variety.
Air test is good. Ready to pull. It's going to be here for a while. Timetable has us holding here for number 9, and she's running about 20 minutes late.
The radio chatter for me is much more interesting because it sounds more like an interactive conversation between the crew and the tower, or the crew and other crews.
I got a lot of tugs today. Better bunch in some slack before we start out.
Better get slack. There's nothing on this train though. So of course, let's roll forward and check it out. Then of course we have the bell feature. And there's a couple of different pitches of bell. We're not going to go through all of those because the bell is the bell. So again, let's roll forward and you'll see that smoke again. A little more juice there. Ready? Whoa, there it goes again. Next to the air horn, like I said, my favorite feature, the turbine smoke. Let's get this engine running. Of course, we're going to run our other Sharks because it's about trains with teeth. Enjoy. Wait for it. I'm gonna wake up people in my neighborhood with this siren. Heading into the yard. All right. I'm having too much fun, but we gotta shut this thing down. I really enjoyed this Veranda Turbine. And again, thank you all for the comments suggesting that I get it. Let me know what your favorite feature was. My feature, of course, the air horn. As always, a huge thank you to all of my subscribers and to everyone who's been supporting this channel. My name is Chris, and this is RBP Trains. We'll see you next time.